Have you ever noticed that some women don't flirt in obvious ways? Instead of being direct, they quietly test your awareness, especially if you are a man over 50. Around you, they tend to behave more carefully. They don't want to come across as desperate or too forward, so they show interest through some questions rather than clear signals. What many men fail to realize is this: when a woman feels attracted to an older man, she often reveals it through two specific questions. It is like a hidden message, easy to miss if you are not paying attention. Men over 50 sometimes believe they are invisible to women, whether younger or their peers. In reality, the opposite is often true. Mature men can be highly attractive, especially when they understand how women communicate interest. The real issue is not lack of attention, it is misunderstanding it. Most men think a woman is just being polite when she is actually opening the door to something more. Women rarely show attraction in a direct way. Instead, they observe your emotional stability, your presence, and how attentive you are to small cues. When a woman starts to trust you, emotionally, physically, and even intimately, her behavior changes. Casual conversation turns into purposeful curiosity. At this point, she begins asking questions designed to reveal three things: your stability and confidence, your emotional availability, and your awareness, whether you can recognize genuine interest. This is where those two key questions tend to emerge. To understand their importance, you have to recognize a deeper psychological reality. Many men over 50 expect straightforward communication because they grew up in a more direct era. But today, even mature women often express interest indirectly. They don't say outright that they are attracted or want something deeper. Instead, they explore. They ask thoughtful, low-pressure questions to gauge whether you are someone they can approach without risking rejection. There's often an underlying concern, especially with older men, that showing too much interest might make them seem desperate. So they disguise attraction as curiosity, framing it in questions that can easily be overlooked. And if you miss those signs, she likely won't repeat them. Women rarely extend the same emotional invitation twice. Female communication tends to be layered. Where men often show interest through actions, helping, leading, protecting, women tend to express it through questions that hint at closeness. A woman may ask many things in everyday conversation, but when she's gently exploring a deeper connection with a mature man, two types of questions show up consistently. Before even identifying them, it's important to understand their purpose. She is not trying to gather information, she is trying to feel you out emotionally. She is asking herself, is he calm? Grounded? Open to connection? Confident in himself or hiding behind politeness? These questions are less about facts and more about connection. They are small emotional bridges she places between you and her, waiting to see if you step forward with presence and awareness. When you do, her perception, and even her attraction, can change instantly. Many men answer these questions literally, taking them at face value. But a more perceptive man recognizes the meaning behind them. When she asks, she is not collecting information, she is checking alignment. She is seeing whether you notice what is unspoken. When a woman is genuinely interested, she is not looking for you to impress her with status or stories. She wants to feel that you are present and emotionally available. That is why these two questions matter so much. They are not random, they are invitations. The first question she asks is meant to reveal your availability, not your schedule, but your emotional openness. She is trying to find out whether there is space in your life for her. It's a psychological question, not a practical one. In essence, she's asking the following: are you open or closed? Can you connect, or are you withdrawn into your routines? Is it safe for me to move closer? Women don't like investing emotional energy without some indication of return, so they test for openness before showing deeper interest. This first question is similar to a man leaning in slightly to see if a woman responds, or pulls away. The difference is many men completely miss it, believing she is just having a conversation. The second question a woman asks when she is interested in something deeper focuses on your sense of direction, not your job or external goals, but your inner compass. She is trying to understand whether your life has purpose, momentum, and a grounded sense of masculinity. Women are rarely attracted to men who seem aimless, they are attracted to men who feel stable, self-aware, and anchored. Through this question, she's quietly evaluating key things. Are you emotionally engaged with life? Do you carry yourself with confidence and consistency? Can she feel secure around you? Do you have clear boundaries, or are you simply drifting? It's not about the specifics of your answer, it's about what your answer reveals about who you are at your core. When she asks, she's already imagining what it might feel like to be close to you. Physical attraction might spark initial interest, but a woman moves closer when she is attracted to a man's presence. This question helps her sense that deeper layer. For men over 50, these questions carry even more weight. At this stage of life, many women believe a man has already experienced most of his emotional journey. Because of that, they are cautious. They don't want to step into a man's life only to feel like a minor part of it. So instead of being direct, they rely on subtle, almost unnoticeable questions to determine whether there's space for them, and whether the man they are attracted to is living with intention or simply going through the motions. You might miss obvious compliments or overlook body language, but if you miss these questions, you miss the moment she's opening a door to connection. And once that moment passes, she's unlikely to offer it again. When a woman wants more than just casual conversation, when she's considering real emotional and physical closeness, she tests that possibility in her own way. Across different ages and cultures, these tests tend to come down to two consistent questions, rooted in feminine psychology. The first question is, do you spend a lot of time alone? On the surface, it sounds simple. But underneath, she's really asking, is there room for me in your life? Women often ask it in different ways, like, do you usually go out by yourself? Are you more of a private person? You seem like someone who enjoys solitude, is that true? Are you seeing someone, or just focusing on yourself right now? This isn't about whether you're lonely, it's about whether you're accessible. She has already imagined herself in your world and wants to know if she would be welcomed or kept at a distance. If she had no interest in you, she wouldn't care how you spend your time. But when she feels attracted to the calm, grounded energy many mature men carry, she wants to know if she can step into that space naturally. Many men answer this question at face value, yes, I'm alone many times, or not really. But a more perceptive man hears what is behind it. She is assessing your openness and emotional availability. A better response reflects balance, calm, self-sufficient, but still open. For example, I enjoy my own space, but I appreciate good company when it is meaningful. I have my routines, but I'm open to the right person adding something to my life. Responses like these communicate that you are not needy, yet you're not closed off either. They create a sense of warmth, possibility, and emotional safety, qualities that naturally draw her in. That's what leads to the second question, which signals even deeper interest. The second question is, what are you looking for these days? This is not casual conversation. It's a deliberate and slightly vulnerable question. A woman only asks it when she's considering you as more than just someone to talk to. If she weren't interested, she wouldn't go there, it feels too personal and revealing. Instead, she reserves it for men she sees as potentially meaningful in her life. She might phrase it differently, such as, what do you want in your life right now? Where do you see yourself heading? What's your focus these days? What are you hoping for at this stage of life? Women ask this second question to understand your inner sense of direction. For a woman to open up, emotionally or physically, particularly to an older man, she needs to feel something essential, that he is grounded in who he is, clear about what he wants, and moving through life with purpose. She's looking for a man who isn't stuck in the past, drifting aimlessly, or simply passing time, but someone who acts with intention. Through this question, she's quietly trying to find out, is his life going somewhere I could step into? Does he offer stability, safety, and emotional leadership? Can I trust him with my vulnerability? When men respond too literally, they often break the moment without realizing it. Answers like, "I'm just looking for peace, I take things day by day," or "I'm not sure right now," can come across as a lack of direction. To her, that sounds like drifting, and women rarely invest in men who seem directionless, regardless of age. A strong response doesn't require a long explanation or revealing everything about your life. It simply needs to show clarity and intention. For example, "I'm building a simpler, stronger chapter with the right people. I'm looking for a connection that feels natural and genuine. I'm focused on living intentionally and creating meaningful experiences." These kinds of answers communicate three important things: that you're moving forward, that you know what you want, and that there's space in your life where she could imagine herself fitting in. That sense of possibility is powerful. It signals that you're emotionally present and engaged, not just going through the motions. At a deeper level, these two questions are tied closely to attraction. Women don't ask them randomly, they ask them when they feel some level of emotional readiness. The first question, about whether you spend time alone, gauges your openness. The second, about what you're looking for, measures your direction. Together, they form a simple but important evaluation: are you open, and are you going somewhere? When both are present, it creates a natural attraction. Women aren't looking for perfection, they're looking for clarity. Clarity creates a sense of safety, and that sense of safety allows attraction to grow. You can picture how this plays out in real life. You're having an easy, flowing conversation, maybe in a cafe, a bookstore, a gathering, or even online. There's a subtle connection: she smiles a bit more, seems relaxed, maybe plays with her hair or holds eye contact longer. Then she asks, "Do you spend a lot of time alone?" This is her first step toward you, an opening. If you respond with calm awareness, the connection builds. If you seem confused or closed off, the energy fades. Later, she asks, "What are you looking for?" This is the second step, the one that shapes whether the connection deepens. Your answer determines whether she sees potential or pulls back. These moments aren't random. They're emotional checkpoints. Women rarely ask these questions unless they feel some level of interest. The key idea is simple: a woman who wants intimacy usually won't say it outright. Instead, she expresses it indirectly through these two questions: do you spend a lot of time alone? Testing your openness: what are you looking for these days? Testing your direction: they're not really about your schedule or plans, they're about your energy and presence. If you recognize them, you can respond in a way that builds connection. If you miss them, the moment often disappears, and it rarely comes back. Ultimately, women aren't evaluating your words as much as your awareness. They're sensing how present you are, how intentional you seem, and whether you truly notice what's happening beneath the surface. When you understand these subtle signals, you no longer have to guess whether a woman is interested, you begin to see it clearly. For mature men, this matters even more. Women tend to expect greater depth, clarity, and emotional presence from older men than from younger ones. While a younger man might be forgiven for uncertainty, an older man is often expected to know himself and his direction. That's why women express interest through subtle emotional cues rather than obvious gestures. When they ask questions about your openness or direction, they're not just making conversation, they're trying to understand your emotional world and whether stepping into it would feel safe and meaningful. Many men succeed or fail in these moments based on one thing: presence. It's not about status or what you can provide, it's about how attentive you are, how fully you engage, and how intentionally you make her feel seen. Shifting to a related idea about connection during meaningful moments, occasions like Christmas highlight the importance of presence even more. Beyond gifts or traditions, what truly matters is making someone feel valued and understood. For many women, this time of year carries deeper emotional weight: memories, hopes, and reflections all come together. If you want to connect with her on a deeper level during such moments, it's not about grand gestures but about genuine attentiveness. The most important step is learning to listen deeply, not just to her words, but to the emotions behind them. The holiday season often brings reflection on the past year, its joys, disappointments, and expectations. When you listen without distraction or judgment, picking up on her tone, pauses, and unspoken feelings, you create a meaningful space for connection. This kind of listening isn't passive, it's active presence. And it shows that what she feels matters more to you than surface-level interactions.